Well, hello and welcome to I Love Gay today. And we are in Berlin and we are here with Enrique Anarte Lazo. How are you?
Hi, I'm good, thanks. And you? How are you?
Doing great. People are probably wondering, you're in Berlin, but you have this Spanish name. So how could that be? But you're originally from Spain, yes?
I'm from southern Spain, yes, but
Yeah.
I've been in Germany for 5 years already, so
Yeah.
quite a
Well,
long time.
and I appreciate for this interview and your English in addition is perfect. So it makes it so much easier.
Well, it's not perfect, but I'm working hard.
But no, you're for those that haven't seen him or know who Enrique is. It's interesting because especially if you're on either I would say primarily Twitter or TikTok, um, you're out there in such a great way because you're self-described as a TikTok journalist and an international correspondent. But he creates news clips for Openly, which is part of Thomson Reuters. And yeah, tell us a little bit about how did you fall into that?
Well, I mean, it's the largest story of how we all started on TikTok.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know if you've heard of a pandemic that happened.
Yeah.
We were all at home. We had to stay at home.
Yeah.
We Many of us didn't have much to do. And my brother's girlfriend was like, there's this new app. It wasn't new, but for us, it was new. Like,
Yeah.
you do funny trends, you do dances, you do lip syncing, let's do it. And I was like, nah, I don't have time for that. I need to read intellectual books.
Yeah.
But then I was like, nah, I'll do it. And then I started doing the trends, and it was fun for a while.
Yeah.
But then I realized that I had a lot of fun doing videos about EU politics.
Yeah.
So I studied European Union law and politics.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of fun doing it. And one of the key issues here in the EU is right now the problems between the European Commission defending queer rights and Poland and Hungary having some issues with the topic.
Yeah.
And so that was those were some of my best performing videos.
Yeah.
And that's how my former boss, who doesn't work with us anymore because he moved to an even more important job, he saw me and he was like, oh my God, I love your videos. And
Yeah.
then he convinced everyone at the Thomson Reuters Foundation to jump into the TikTok train.
Yeah.
And we did it.
Well, I think he had a very good eye for talent then because I will tell you, I'm a fan. I love what you do. And what happens, I'm out there a lot talking to companies about, I've been doing online marketing and media for many years. And when I talk to companies, they're always trying to figure out like how to present themselves, especially TikTok. It's very confusing for a lot of people. But you're unique because yeah, there's influencers out there and content creators and all over TikTok and Instagram, but you've carved out this wonderful niche, I think, as far as really showing people how you can actually create meaningful news in that same fashion and format. And I think it's very unique what you're doing.
Thank you. I hope you meant in a good way, unique.
It is.
um, well, I have a lot of fun doing it. It's
Yeah.
not just fun, but I have a lot of fun doing it. I am a person who tries not to take himself too seriously because I can be very intense. So this like possibility of combining serious elements, topics that we care about that are important from people in their daily lives, and funny things who might not feel like the most appropriate way to communicate certain things sometimes.
Yeah.
In the end, you're reaching people in a language that feels very close to them, that they see influencers and content creators do it too, that they do it themselves at home sometimes. And I think it gives us it's such a great possibility as journalists to reach people in a different way, and to, I always say this, to talk directly to them
Yeah.
instead of down to them,
Yeah.
which I think has been a problem in some sectors of the industry in the past years. And we're learning that um, respecting the audience and talking to them instead of down to them is very important in order to gain their trust.
I agree. I actually spend a lot of time saying something very similar. I say it's important for us to speak with people, not at them, because speaking with people is the more human way. It's an engaged conversation. Speaking at people, that's what marketing has always been, and that's what media has always been. They're only telling people exactly one way what they want to hear, and what I try to describe to them, I think the world changed.
Yeah, totally, totally. I totally agree. Actually, like very often, like a lot of our journalistic work is not only what we put out as a video, but also the way we engage with the audience in the comments, for
Yeah.
example.
Yeah.
And I think it's super important for us, especially at an organization like the Thomson Reuters Foundation, which is known for its impartiality
Yeah.
in the way we do our journalism. It's a very interesting field to explore, but
Yeah.
it also has a lot of challenges. But for me, I think it's super interesting and super important because like we're reaching a lot of people that didn't know us before,
Yeah.
and now they feel like they know you, they feel close to you, and they trust you. And I think that having the trust of your audience is the dream of every single media outlet, right? Because they
Yeah.
know that if you do a video about something, it's because it's true.
Yeah.
And in times of misinformation, fake news, and propaganda, like there isn't something more valuable than that.
Yeah. Well put. But also you're still working and doing content for Deutsche Welles, right? Or is it Welles? I may
Deutsche
pronounce that.
Welle, yeah. Well, yeah, I have two jobs, plus two cats.
Okay.
Yeah, I also work as a reporter for Deutsche Welle for
Yeah.
its culture and lifestyle team.
Yeah.
And we're also on TikTok, where we mostly cover live in Berlin for an
Yeah.
international audience. As you know, Berlin is a very international city, and if
Yeah.
you see our channel, you're gonna see real. I'm sometimes amazed that we put out a video every day, and it's something new, and it's something that people haven't seen before. We don't repeat topics, and yeah, it's also very rewarding because like as journalists, we often talk about how local journalism is the best school because
Yeah.
it's so close to people. It sort of like forces you to go out to the street and not just like call the spokesperson of someone and what does this person say about this? No, you're like there. You have to be where
Yeah.
the story is.
Yeah.
What we're doing, both on openly and also at Deutsche Welle on TikTok, is to be there where the story is and to tell it in a way that is relevant to an international audience, which I think is super cool because you're
Yeah.
doing local journalism that is cool for like a lot of English speakers here in Berlin, because many people here in Berlin don't speak German.
Yeah.
Uh, but also interesting for someone who might be in Texas or in Brazil or in, I don't know, Andalusia, where I come from, and they're like, oh, wow, that's so cool. I wish there was something like that here, for example,
Yeah.
or the way it's here is better than there. And then you engage in a discussion where it's not about like, you know, just how cool Berlin is, but also like how can we and you learn from the way the way things are made differently in the
Yeah.
world.
Well, I think it's great because, like you said, also you're approaching it from a perspective. You're from Spain. You live there now. You're speaking in English, so you're bringing kind of these multiple and kind of fresh new approach to people being able to get a sense of what I think is an amazing city in Berlin. And but uh, but in addition, you've also even published things when you first moved from Spain into Germany and Berlin. What a culture shock that was! I loved reading that.
Well, it was, I mean, my brain sometimes is like, I can't take it anymore. It's been too much, like too many languages. But I think it's also very enriching. I think you say in English, like experience. Like I've
Yeah.
learned so much from being outside my region in Spain. Spain, every region is very, like every country, but like I think Spain has a lot of really a very rich diversity between the different regions.
Yeah.
Like living my region was a big learning. Living Spain was another a huge learning. Going first to Cologne, which is like more German than Berlin, and then coming to Berlin and such an international city, but at the same
Yeah.
time, very German and all these culture shocks of being Spanish, but also like from southern Spain, which is different to the north of Spain. And then dealing with Germans, but also with a city that is not only German. And
Yeah.
then working in English, but also in German, but also in Spanish, having a public all over the world and who sees the world differently.
Yeah.
So that's, I mean, for me, it's I feel very lucky. I feel very privileged of having been able to live all of this,
Yeah.
and I think that yeah, that's why I think that somehow I have an obligation to like to take my reporting very seriously, to take the values of impartiality and fairness very seriously, and yeah, and put something out there that is useful to people,
Yeah.
and make TikTok a better place for people who are looking for information.
Yeah, no, good point. I was wrapping up your, you're from Spain, but you actually lived in Madrid as well for a while, and I was just there last month, and I think it's one of the most amazing cities. And I don't know if you concur. I don't know how you feel about it, but I love that place.
I think that it's the best city in the world. That being said, it's not easy to live there. So I think it's a great city to visit. But it's not, I think for locals it's a bit harder because it's not as affordable as it used to be.
Yeah,
So I think for yeah, I think it's a great city to visit, to spend some time in. But one also has to see, as it happens with most of Spain, that for locals, sometimes it's not just like good weather and good food and very nice people, everyone dancing and whatever. No, it's also like sometimes it can be a struggle. So when I go back, I'm a bit torn.
mm.
I'm like, I'm home. I love this place. I would love to live here again, but then do I want to live here again?
No, I get it. But no, I think this is wonderful. And mostly I'm just really glad that you're able to spend a few moments of your time and kind of share with our audience a little bit about who you are and what you've been working on all this time. Although I think most folks probably already know who you are by now.
Well, I mean, yeah, well, I'm very happy to be here. Very always happy to like listen to what people have to say about our work.
Yeah.
Not only my work, but also our work as a team, because I think we're a team and everything that we do is together. It's not just me. It's like we
Yeah.
all and make each other better reporters, better TikTok journalists. So I think that's also important to highlight. But I think also a good part of, even though I don't love being recognized in the street, because sometimes you're at a bar at 2 a.m. and someone's like, "Oh, you're the TikTok guy," and I'm like, "Oh, please." Like it's very nice, but I just want to relax.
I hear
because
you.
but I do like being so close to people and people being able to share their feedback, especially when it's constructive,
Yeah.
in a good and in a bad way sometimes. I mean, I've never had an uncomfortable situation, and I just love that people tell me, "Oh, I like this. Oh, I think this could be better. Or this could be improved. This, why don't you also cover this topic?" I just feel like I learn from my
Yeah.
audience and our audience and the people who approach us either online or in person, and make us better journalists.
Well put. I like that. Well, I really appreciate you taking out the time, and I'll make sure to link to all of your social media for both you and openly on especially on YouTube. But and next time I'm in Berlin, I look forward to hopefully being able to connect as well.
Yes, I'll take you out.
I'd like that. Well, thanks so much.
Thanks a lot. Have a
All
good
right.
day.
And it feels good, so good, coming back